been born and brought up in Australia, you don't have Indian parents, you don't have any Indian
No.
relatives or anything. Still, you have so much love in your heart for our country. You have explored our country with the lens that is so fresh, that is so pure, and that is so full of love. If we're talking about India 2 decades after the independence,
Yeah.
how was it?
It was still free. It was still free. I mean, now you have shanty towns, but back then when we caught a boat from Mombasa to Bombay, and all the people were living on the footpaths.
Okay, so people were living on footpaths.
Yeah. There wasn't big shanty. I don't know that place it's called Mumbai now, but
Yeah.
that big shanty town where they all live, well, that wasn't there. I'm pretty sure it wasn't there because they were all on the footpaths in their cardboard houses and whatever else they had to make a house.
But
Treated them really
Westerners
bad.
were selling their passports to stay in India.
Yeah.
They wanted to stay in India because of the freedom
Yeah.
and the drugs.
And the
you're
drugs.
saying.
And the
oh
drugs.
my God,
Yeah.
that's something that I've never heard before.
Yeah. Wow, I've been lied to all my life. I've been lied to about germs, about everything. You know, look at these people. They're fine, you know. And the West was telling me all this stuff and it was all wrong. It was all lies. They're telling them not to have ghee or coconut oil and stuff. And you should. All these trans fats that they're bringing out, like canola oil, palm oil, safflower oil, they're really bad oils.
Okay.
They have made the West sick.
Welcome to Namah Talks, Ria ji. And when we greet our guest, we say Namah Namaskar.
Namaskar.
And we're glad to have you on this guest chair with us because it's going to be a very, very unique and interesting podcast. Why? Because you're someone who is so passionate about India. You love India, the colors, the beauty of it, the raw India. You love that. And we Indians who have been born and brought up here, we complain a lot about our country. We say,
Yep.
This is wrong, that is wrong, this is like that. And we fantasize the modern Western world so much. But someone who has been in Australia since all of your life, right? You've
Yeah.
been born and brought up in Australia. You don't have Indian parents. You don't have any Indian
No.
relatives or anything. Still, you have so much love in your heart for our country. You have explored our country with the lens that is so fresh, that is so pure, and that is so full of love. And I would love to hear from you. I would love ki our audience who is hearing you right now, they understand how India looks to someone who has so much love for it in her heart and who does not think about India as a poor country, India as a dirty country, which has so many
Yeah.
flaws. So I would love to know from you, but first can I know, how did you get to know or how did you develop this love for India at the first time?
Well, I came over, I was only 19.
You were 19 when you
Yeah.
came to India?
Yeah.
How?
And there was only 8 million people in Australia, and everywhere I travelled and said where I come from, they'd say, "Oh, America." And I'd say, "No, Australia." Nobody had heard of us.
Nobody knew Australia?
No, nobody.
So we are talking about which year?
1973.
1973.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And India had only had its independence for probably 25 years, so it was very young as well. And it was just, it's hard to explain, but when I first got here, I just felt so insignificant because coming from a place where nobody, it was only 8 million people to a place where there was a gazillion people,
Yeah.
I was just this little drop in the ocean of people, and that was the first thing that really hit me was, wow, look at all these people. And they're all living harmoniously, even though there's a gazillion of them.
The diversity.
Yes, the diversity. Oh my goodness. The different castes, like I noticed, and I was completely ignorant of any place in the world because there was no social media. There was nothing when I was growing up. And so I was totally ignorant to India, but it didn't take me long to realise the passion, the love and the beauty that India has, and the freedom to be who you really are without anybody questioning you or, pointing the finger at you and telling you should be doing this and you shouldn't be doing that. And that was so refreshing. It was
You're saying
wonderful.
that India had more freedom?
Absolutely.
India has more freedom?
It
I think a
still
lot of
does.
people would disagree to that.
It still does have more freedom. If you come to my country where rules, we're so suppressed with rules now that it's getting ridiculous.
Now.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
if we're talking about India 2 decades after the independence,
Yeah.
how was it?
It was still free. I mean, now you have shanty towns, but back then when we caught a boat from Mombasa to Bombay, and all the people were living on the footpaths.
Okay, so people were living on footpaths.
Yeah. There wasn't big shanty. I don't know that place it's called Mumbai now, but that big shanty town where they all live, well, that wasn't there. I'm pretty sure it wasn't there because they were all on the footpaths in their cardboard houses and whatever else they had to make a house, and they were all living there.
Okay.
And that was pretty eye-opening. That was the other thing, that there was nothing hidden. Everything's out in the open. Everything that people did was out in the open. There was nothing behind closed doors, and that was really refreshing as well.
So you found freedom in people living on the roads because you thought that they are free. There are no walls.
Yeah.
And everything is out in the open.
Yeah.
And that is freedom for you.
Yeah.
But for people who were living on the roads, they were dreaming of houses.
Oh, yes. I mean, the bad side of it was there was a lot of children that had been purposely maimed by their parents so they could beg. And that was very traumatic to see that. And if you gave a beggar some money, you would have a swarm within a second. You would have hundreds of them trying to get money off you. And that was daunting too. That was really sad because we didn't have any possessions. We were living on the streets with these people, and which made it even more confronting. But being so young and naive, I just took it as lessons. I just took it as, oh, wow, look what I'm experiencing. I'm experiencing all these people and all the different castes. You could tell, who was an ear cleaner and who was a merchant, not just what they were wearing, but their features, because it was generational caste system, whereas now it's not as noticeable as it was back then.
Oh, so you were saying that the caste system was noticeable?
Oh, yeah, very noticeable.
After the independence?
Yeah.
How was it noticeable, the caste system?
Well, they still dressed, like I said, you could tell who the ear cleaner was, who the shopkeeper was, who the merchant man was, who the silversmith was, by the way they dressed and by their features.
By the physical features?
Yeah.
Can you describe that for me?
Well, because I guess it's because and still today some trades get passed down father to son, and I'm pretty sure that's why they all look the same.
Correct.
Each different caste was because they were still doing that generational thing.
Yeah,
and it was
the thing that getting married into the same caste.
Yeah.
That led to the passing on of the traits and everything.
Yeah, and whatever your father did, you had to do it. Whereas today, the kids of India today are going, nah, I don't want to do what you did. I'm going to do something else. So you can't tell who's a Brahmin and who's not. And there was untouchables back then too.
Oh.
You didn't know about untouchables?
Not anymore.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was pretty sad too, but it worked. It worked,
So how was it, the untouchables thing in India after the independence?
It was still there. Like my friend and I ended up in jail in Jhansi for a week, and there was a Brahmin in the jail, and she would not talk to us. She would have nothing to do with us. And there was an untouchable in the jail as well with her little girl, Geeta, and she would knit my hair because back then there was no head lice treatment, and I had really long hair, and she would knit my hair. But I'll never forget the Brahmin lady. She just would not. She just kept giving me dirty looks and, yeah,
Wow.
because, yeah, so it was still very strong, the caste system, very strong.
I mean, having experienced that, but I'm more curious right now about you ending up in jail. What's that about?
Well, my friend and I, we went to, we had these French guys that came with us, and because back then there was an invasion in India of young Europeans, like there was French, Italians, Germans. I didn't see any Australians except some friends, and Americans. And they were all coming to India for the freedom and the drugs. And they were selling their passports so they could stay because there was no visas or anything like that. You didn't need a visa. And so a lot of people were doing that. I mean, there was more Europeans and white people, or Westerners as I call them, back then than there is now. You know, they just seemed to, we were all there just invading the place. And I felt really sorry for the Indian people because some of the Westerners were horrible to them, you know, treated
But
them really
Westerners
bad.
were selling their passports to stay in India.
Yeah.
They wanted to stay in India because of the freedom
Yeah.
and the drugs.
And the
you're
drugs.
saying.
And the
Oh
drugs.
my God,
Yeah.
that's something that I've never heard before.
Yep, yep. And the casualties from that. I had a friend in Bombay, Matthew. He was from the UK. He ended up going crazy. I was looking after him as much as I could, and it got too much. So this English couple took him on, and he didn't have a passport. We couldn't find out where he was from. We couldn't contact his parents. So one day I was walking past the back of a restaurant, and here he is. He's had all his hair cut off, and he's sitting with all the beggars waiting for food, the scraps. And I saw people die from, there was a guy in Manali, he was a French guy, he had elephantitis in his legs, he was a really bad junkie, and when we left we heard a couple of days later that he died. They were just coming there, and because no one was telling them what to do, and they were used to being told what to do, all
The
of us were.
Westerners.
Yeah, we were used to being told what to do. It was worse back then than now, you know, like we were to be seen and not heard and all this stuff. So, and they get to India and they can do whatever they like. And it freaked a lot of people out. And in Bombay, there was another Scottish guy. He had nothing. He just had a pair of shorts and a syringe in his shorts. And he became a guide for Westerners, you know, he'd tell them where to go and stuff like that. And in Manali it was the same thing. And Goa, it was dreadful in Goa. There was people walking around. One girl was walking around naked, nothing. No passport, nothing. No, not even any clothes on. And the authorities asked us, would we help her? And we said, no, how can we help her? You know, you're the authorities. You do what you have to do. But that was really bad. A lot of people died. A lot of people went mad because of all the drugs and all the freedom that went with the drugs.
Oh my God, I'm like shook right now. I never thought India was like that. Like in 1970s and in 1980s, the Westerners were coming to India for the freedom to do anything that they want because they were told what to do and when to do and how to do and everything. But in India, they found freedom.
Yeah.
And at the same time, with that freedom came drugs.
Yeah.
And the Westerners were dying in India because of the drugs there.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's one story that nobody has ever told.
Wow.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
not
that
heard
was a
that
big
before.
one. Yeah. Oh, I've got many good stories.
I would
Many
love to
good
hear.
stories.
I would love to hear.
Yeah, yeah, you bet. And the reason my friend and I, we went up to Manali to buy some hash. And that's when I met Shiva. That's when I became a Shiva person. A Shiv person was
So
there.
you believe in Shiva?
Oh, yeah, yeah, have since then.
How was your first encounter with Shiva?
Well, I was sitting in Manali, they had these little huts, and half of it was wood and the other half was dirt where you could put a fire, and it was where the sadhus would go to get out of the cold. So of course all the Westerners were doing it, and this guy came in one day, this sadhu, and he had dreadlocks that touched the ground. He had his little orange cloth and his little, I've got one of those, I've still got my little brass pail. And I just went, wow, I've got to know more about this. And then the more I found out about these guys and how they had no possessions, how they just meditated and just lived humbly like the Buddhists, I was just intrigued, and that's where my love for Shiva started, was with these sadhus.
So if somebody comes to you right now, let's say an Australian comes to you and asks, who is Shiva? What would you tell?
I would say Shiva is the transformer. I don't like calling him the destroyer, because he does destroy things, but he destroys them to make them better, you know? So I say the transformer. He transforms things into better things. He is like Brahma and Vishnu were fighting over who was the most powerful, and Shiv said, okay, we'll find the end of this beam of light.
Yeah.
And Vishnu was the boar. He went under the ground and Brahma went up, and neither of them could find it, but Brahma lied and said he did, and that's why there's no temples, or there's one temple. But that's how powerful he is. And he doesn't judge anybody. You know, he had very undesirable friends that hung around with him. He was, I don't know, he was just like us. It felt like we could relate to him because we were hippies. And hippies are peace and love and vegetarians, don't hurt anybody, be kind. And yeah, he just felt like that to me.
You would describe yourself as a hippie.
Oh yes, I'm one of the original hippies.
Wow, it's like an honor to sit with an original hippie. But being at this age, I can see the tattoos on your hands, the look that you have, and then you believe in Shiv. I mean, I really, really agree with the fact that we connect with Shiv because he is more like us.
Yes.
My mother also says the same thing, that because Shivji lives on earth, he's full of, like, he doesn't care who you are, how you look, he doesn't care how much you pray, how much you do some rituals or anything. He just cares that you have a good heart, a good unconscious, a good mind, good thoughts, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
He preaches that you live freely.
Yeah.
And that's what you call a hippie now, that living freely. And that's why people connect with him, because they feel like there are no boundaries when you pray to Shiv.
Yeah.
I would like to know, how does an Australian praise to an Indian god?
Well, I have my own, I do Sanatan Dharma. I do sadhana every day. I have my little altar with Shiv and Ganesh.
You have a mandir? We call it mandir, the altar.
Yes, and I have my mala beads and my bell and my diya. And I do that every morning.
You pray every day?
Yeah, every day.
And what do you chant?
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Trayabakam Yajamahe. I know that all the way through.
Wow, even I don't know that.
Yeah, and that's what I chant. And then I do the mala beads and I do Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Yeah.
So I can see that you're wearing Rudraksh as well.
Yes, and I got these back in 1973.
It's that old?
Yes.
And you have some very pretty cutesy beads in between as well to make it look very fashionable.
A friend of mine blew, they're glass blown beads, and a friend of mine gave them to me that she made. And I thought, well, these are really special, and so are my Rudraksh beads. So
where did you get these Rudraksh from?
I don't remember. It was too long ago, but I have a little Shiva ling, I have some symbols, I have a brass pail and these.
So you don't remember where you got the Rudraksh from?
I would have got them in Manali or somewhere like that, for sure. Yeah.
And did you just find them below a tree, or did you buy them?
No, they were strung on a bit of rope.
Okay.
So I think they were given to me by a sadhu, because I used to hang out with them a lot. I used to love hanging out with them. I remember in Agra they made some bhang. You know bhang? Is that the
No.
right way? It's the weed drink.
Bhang, yeah, I know
Bhang,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, that is a drink that Shiva also drinks as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's supposed to make you experience the same effects of an alcohol or
Yeah,
a drug.
but it's better.
But it's better.
Yeah.
It's more Indian, natural.
Yes.
So you've
yeah.
tried bhang.
Yes, and we sat with these babas and they had a big rock and a piece of material and they
Yeah.
ground it with some black pepper and then picked the cloth up and squeezed it into a glass. Yeah.
You drank it?
Yeah.
How was your experience with bhang?
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, it
What
was
did
really
you
good.
experience?
I don't remember. I don't remember, but I know it was good because I remember that part. You know how you can just have, it was so long ago that I just have, like we call them Kodak moments where you remember something and go, oh, I remember that. Wow, yeah. And that was one of those moments sitting with them. And if they gave you something to eat, you would take a bit of it off and put it in the little hole. There was holes to give to the gods, a bit of whatever you were eating. I haven't noticed that anymore. And another thing was
This
the
was
temples.
where? This was-
In the temples, like outside there used to be little holes with a god in there or a goddess. And when you had something to eat, you would offer a bit of it
Oh,
to them. Yeah.
that's
And that was lovely. That was in Agra. Everywhere was different. Yeah.
You have been with sadhus, right? And
Yeah.
you have spent a lot of time talking to them. So how would you, like, any experience that you want to share, any stories, something that you learned from a sadhu in India?
Well, I learnt that you don't need possessions, and I learnt that you can get by with just having love in your heart and not thinking you need all these things. That was another big thing for me. I thought, wow, I've been lied to all my life. I've been lied to about germs, about everything. Look at these people. They're fine, And the West was telling me all this stuff and it was all wrong. It was all lies. And that was another thing that really I noticed a lot.
That people are living freely and they don't care about the germs, that hygiene thing that we all talk about today.
We are germophobic.
Yeah.
It's dreadful, India is not dirty. India is not dirty. If you come to the West, we are so clean that our kids have got allergies,
Correct.
And our immune systems are shot,
Correct.
So, no, India's not dirty at all.
India is healthy.
Yes.
India is strong.
India has the best food. It's fresh. It's not from a supermarket that's been packed thousands of miles away and put on the shelf. You go to, that was another thing. Back then you would go, you know how you've got your carts with all your fruit and veggies on it? Well, everything was like that. There wasn't many shops. And as you were walking up, you'd think, what is that? Because it was all black. And then you'd get closer and all the flies would disappear. I don't see many flies now. But back then, everything was covered in flies.
Yeah. But it's supposed to be like, it's unhealthy. The flies carry germs
Well,
and diseases.
I was fine. They were fine,
That's true.
I think a lot of this stuff that they tell you is so they can sell you their product. Now, I have learnt that through my life, this weight watching thing and this unhealthy thing and germophobic thing. It's all to sell you their products. Like the thing in India now is like most Indians aren't white. There is a very small minority of white Indians. But all the billboards and all the TV shows and all the ads, they're white. And I think that's sad because black is beautiful. And in my country and in Europe, we would die to be brown. We would love to be black, We have tanning salons. We bake in the sun because we would love to be your colour. And it's really sad that the West has brought that to you guys to make you think, oh, no, you can't be that colour, you need to do this and that, and it's not good because there's so many people that aren't white. And I've spoken to young teenagers, and it's really sad, you know. Oh, I don't like the colour of my skin. And when I tell them, well, give it to me, I'll be your colour any day, you know.
Yeah. But it's always the thing that the what other person has is better. But yes, if we talk about that, the Westerners and all the colonization and everything has made us think that our skin color is not beautiful.
Yes.
But the things are changing now.
Yeah. The grass is always greener on the other side. That's the saying.
Do you like Indian food?
I love it.
Do
I
you
love
find it spicy?
Yes, but if you don't eat it every day, I mean, I don't eat chili. I like spices, but I'm not really a chili person. But I will have a meal with a bit of chili in it, but not every day of the week. Because I tried that when I was with my friends in Bangladesh. What is it called? Down south? Bangalore. Yeah, and I was eating curry for breakfast, lunch and dinner, and it did affect me in the end. So, yeah, you just got to take it easy. And it was the same back then, you know, like people were using water purifying tablets. And I didn't bother. I just got used to the water in the end. And that was another thing when I was in Goa, all the Westerners, the big topic of the day was what kind of shit you had. What the texture was, what it looked like, the whole bit, because that was a big issue in the Westerners' life when they got to India, because of all the curries and because of all the veggies and fruit and fresh food.
What do you think, which diet is better? The Westerner diet is healthier or the Indian diet?
Oh no, Indian, absolutely, without a doubt.
Indian is healthier?
Yes, and it's really worrying that Indian people are starting to, they're telling them not to have ghee or coconut oil and stuff, and you should. All these trans fats that they're bringing out, like canola oil, palm oil, safflower oil, they're really bad oils. Okay. They have made the West sick and obese. When I was growing up, there was no fat people, none at all. I went to a school with 1,000 kids, and one of them was overweight because she had a problem, a medical problem, because we didn't have any of those trans fats back then either.
So I think if you would advise even the Westerners, you would tell them to switch to the Indian diet.
Yeah, and a lot of Westerners are. I mean, Australia, we love curry. In Australia, we love it. Yeah.
So you've tried everything Indian in food?
Yep.
You've tried parathas.
Yep.
You've tried all the sabzis,
Poha,
dal.
yeah. Dosa.
What's your favorite Indian dish?
Dosa.
Dosa? Oh, I love dosa as well.
I love it. Yeah.
And it's very different in different parts of South India. It's not like it's same everywhere in the South as well. You find different types of dosa everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's delicious.
Yeah.
And it's very healthy as well.
Yeah.
If
it's
we
all healthy.
talk about it.
Yeah. And back then there was only healthy food back then. There was no bread, there was no cheese, no alcohol.
In India?
Yeah. It was just fresh food, and you would buy, I used to love roasted chickpeas, and you'd buy them in a cone of newspaper. You know, everything was fresh. Yeah. Everything was fresh. Yeah.
If whenever you go back to Australia from your visit to India, I think you come to India a lot often, right? So when you go back to Australia, what are the things that you take with you?
Well, I've taken a lot back from India. I've taken the diet. I've taken Sanatan Dharma. I've taken the clothes. I don't have any Western clothes.
You don't?
They're so uncomfortable. And I love bright colours, and that's another sad thing. Everybody's wearing black and grey and, dim colours, whereas India's very vibrant. The colours are beautiful, and the saris make you feel like a princess. And even the kurtas. I mean, you see the young girls and they look like princesses. Their dupattas are flowing in the wind. And
now it has become a thing that we wear these kurtas and all of these pretty Indian clothes whenever there's an occasion, and then we feel pretty.
Yeah.
But normal days we don't usually wear all this.
I know, and that's really sad.
I would like to ask you in another sense the same question. Whenever you go back to Australia after your visit to India, what are the 3 things that you pack in your suitcase to take it with you?
Oh, more Indian clothes, Cooking utensils from
Utensils?
India. Yep.
Why?
Why? Because we don't have the good ones like you do.
Oh wow.
And what's the third thing? Oh, and I take, like if I need statues or things to make my house look pretty.
Okay, so
I
you
take
take
that.
the Indian decor as
Yes,
well
the
with
Indian
you,
decor.
and you decorate your house
Yep.
the Indian way.
Yep.
So
I-
if somebody visits your Australian home, it must look very Indian.
My home is
It
very
does,
Indian.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
How would you say that?
Even when you sit on my veranda, I don't have tables and chairs. You sit on the floor on little stools. I have a little fire pit, one of those, I don't know what they're called. And so my place is very Indian. I have pictures of Shiva and Ganesh and Lakshmi that I bought back 50 years ago.
50 years.
And I've got them framed on my walls.
Wow.
Yeah, pictures that you don't see those sort of pictures anymore that I've got, yeah.
So what's your you being in Australia and so passionate about India, traveling to India so much, living the Indian lifestyle? What's your the kids? What do they think about your lifestyle?
Well, my kids used to think it was funny at first, but then when I became a Hindu, officially,
Okay.
I went to, my friend Tesh took me to a temple, him and his mum, and we got 2 pandit priests and did the ritual. Now my kids, like this trip, my grandson, he's 11, he can't wait to come
To
over.
India.
Yeah. My daughter, my eldest son's, yeah, Mum, I'm coming, I'm there. My other son, not so much, but my daughter, who just used to, oh, you're ridiculous, Mum, has gone, Mum, I want to come. I want to come and see India now. So she will when her 2 little ones grow up a bit more. She'll
So
come
the love
over
has
as well.
passed on to
Yeah.
the next
Yeah.
generation.
And when we go out, when the moon is full, I take my grandsons out and we go Om Namah Shivaya and I tell them that Chandra is the moon and we salute to the sun and we hug trees and they love it. They love it. Yeah.
Have you faced any backlash or a very bad experience in India being an Australian who is so embracing the Indian culture so much?
Yeah, I've heard by my friends people saying stuff, but I just ignore it.
What kind of stuff? did they say?
Oh, what's she doing here? But most of the time, no. Most of the time, no. And I've noticed also when they ask me where I come from, and they say, oh, America or UK, and I go, no, Australia. They go, oh, Australia. Everyone does that, So I think, oh. So, yeah, no, I haven't had too much. I did back in the 70s. I did have a lot of heavy things happen to me
What
by
kind of
Indians because they didn't understand. We're running around like them and they didn't understand.
They did not like it that you were in,
Yeah, no, they just thought they could take advantage of it.
like how?
Like, trying to corner us and, do horrible things to us. It only happened a couple of times, but it was pretty heavy
So
when it happened.
And I'm sorry to ask, but you have faced some kind of harassment as well.
Oh, yeah. Like when I was in jail, we spent a week there. Like I said, we went to Manali to get some hash because we were told because we'd run out of money. And we were told if we bought some hash and brought it back to Goa, we could sell it and make some money. So we were on the train and we got woken up at Jhansi and they took all our hash and because we didn't have bakshish, we couldn't pay them because that was all the money. And so they took us to jail and we refused to eat the food because it was horrible and we had to sleep on the floor on a hessian bag and the toilet was just a hole just there and a guy would shovel it out every day. And so the jailer used to get us to come up and he would give us bananas and chai. And I didn't realise he was just sizing us up, well, me especially, because I was the friendly one. My friend, she was always pretty sour looking and, not really enjoying herself. Oh, I just embraced it all. And so when it was time to leave, we had a Yugoslavian guy with us as well. And when it was time to leave, they said they'd drive us to a temple. And we're driving along and it's getting darker and darker. And I said to my friends, I don't like this. Oh, don't be silly, they're police, they won't do anything. And I went, nah. So, of course they did. They drove us into this place. There were soldiers there because when they said, the three of them were in the front and we were in the back, and they said, right. And they pointed to me and said, you've got to get out and go with him. And I went, no, no, no. And so they started smacking us and ripping our clothes, and one of them pulled out a knife, and I went, all right, I'll go. And I walked up to this place with this guy, and Shiv was there. Shiv was there, mate, because next minute we hear this yelling, and the guy runs back down, and these soldiers had heard us screaming. So the guys, and we're trying to go like this to the soldiers, help, help. Anyway, we got chucked back in the car, drove back to Jhansi. They didn't say a word, and they dropped us off. And that was the end of that.
I'm really, really sorry that happened
Oh,
to you.
look, it was my own fault because I was stupid and naive, and I should have seen the writing on the wall, and I didn't because I was so young and so naive. I mean, nothing like
But
that
the
would
fault
happen.
is of the men, not yours as well.
Yeah,
But
you're right.
one thing that somebody else in your position would have had a thing like, ki, I don't like India anymore. India is very bad. People do this
Yeah,
and that.
nah.
India is like that. But you still
Yeah.
love India.
Yeah.
Because recently only we have seen some of the news that some foreigners were traveling in India. They experienced some kind of harassment, molestation. And then their perspective of India changed. A lot of backlash on social media did happen on that.
That's
as well.
sad. That's
But
sad.
you still vouch for India.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, gee whiz, like I said, they were young. They were just getting on their feet after colonialism. And I know all about colonialism because the British came to Australia and messed up our Aborigines and messed up our lives as well. So I can relate to that a lot. Not as bad as you guys had it, but yeah.
So now that you travel to India as well, right now as well, this is 2025 and you've been in India in 1973 as well. What's the change in India from 1973 to 2025?
Oh, heaps. Back in 1973, there was no toilets. Any body of water that you went to would have shit all around it. If you did find a toilet, there'd be shit all around it. People just did it wherever they wanted. There was no education about...
That's something changed.
Yeah, that's
lot.
changed heaps, and people don't maim their kids anymore to get them to beg. There's not as many flies anymore. I don't know why that is, but yeah.
That's okay. I mean, that's a lot of change that we know
Yeah.
about. Something that we don't know about. Something that you experienced on a personal level.
That's different now. Well, there's a lot of cool kids. There was no Indian kids back then. I mean, we had a lot of little Indian friends, but they were beggars that were hanging out because we were looking after them and they were looking after us. But now, you've got great music. Like, I love Hans Raj Raghuvanshi. I love his music. And you've got really cool kids, and technology, you've balanced it so it works well with your culture. They don't clash. They're hand in hand. And I think the technology here is the best in the world.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing what you guys do.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Indians managed to balance it with their culture as
Yeah,
well, not losing
yeah.
the essence of their culture.
Yeah, like you'll go to places and there'll be people sleeping, on the floor or whatever, and there'll be a place to charge your phone.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, that's
great.
true.
Yeah. No, I think it's
never
awesome.
noticed it that way. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
That,
that's
matlab,
good.
This is a lens that we don't see our country with. You are the lens that you are telling us,
Yeah.
wow, people sleep on the floor, but they have a charging point
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
And they have a phone in their hand.
Yeah.
They have all the technology and still they have the lifestyle of an Indian.
Yeah. And they can light a fire. Like, I just went through Diwali, and when I was a kid, you had cracker night. That's all banned now. We can't do any of that now.
In Australia.
Yeah. And I really I really felt sad. I thought, oh, we've gone too far. You know, our kids don't have any fun now. Everything's controlled. And they wonder why they sit in front of a screen all day, you know, because we have so many rules.
Have you been to an Indian marriage? Indian
Yes,
wedding?
yes.
What do you think about an
Oh,
Indian
I'd
wedding?
love to get married. Just to wear all the gear and go through the whole
I think
ceremony.
that's what I feel as well. A lot of Indian girls are like, I want to get married for the wedding day. That's it.
Yeah,
No husband after that.
yeah. And it's the same in the West. They like their weddings.
Yeah, it's
But
beautiful as well.
yeah, I like the ceremonies and all. I do feel sorry for the couple because by the third day, they're totally over
Exhausted.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that
But
happens.
it's beautiful, beautiful weddings.
So you've been through all the rituals, you've seen everything in the
Yeah.
Indian wedding.
And I've also seen baby ceremony. I've been to a baby ceremony.
God Bharai, which we say.
Yeah. And what was the other thing? The naming of the baby and
Mundan,
yeah.
the cutting of hair.
Yes.
That's
Yep.
called Mundan.
Yeah.
So you've seen it all.
Yeah.
And it's something that only India has. No other country has these kind
Yeah.
of rituals and such vibrant festivities and celebration of everything in life.
And that's the other thing I love that India has. It celebrates everything. You know, like I was in Varanasi and they had Chat Puja. And I was told it was just to honour your husbands and your sons. But it's not. It's to honour the sun and the moon, fertility, family. And it's the most beautiful ritual. And I'm thinking, oh, why haven't they got anything for the girls? But when I went through the whole thing, because these lovely girls invited me to sit with them in Varanasi and then go back to their house and watch their mother do the pujas and everything. And I learnt all about it and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to take that home. I'm going to get my daughter and all her friends with their little children and start doing something similar.
Chhat Puja.
Yeah. And it's the same with Holi and Sister and Brother Day, and I can never
Raksha
remember
Bandhan.
the names of all this. And I do the ancestor thing every year, you know, letting my ancestors go. Prata,
Shrad, I think we say.
Prata. Anyway, yes. Names, it doesn't
Okay,
matter.
the audience can comment
Yeah,
about it.
yeah,
What's it
yeah,
called?
you can
Please
tell us
comment.
what it is.
Because even I am not able to get the name.
Yeah, and they have everyone you ask has a different take on India's stuff. But that's what I love about it. They celebrate everything, you know. And I think if the West took on sadhana, I think it's the only way we're going to survive. If the West take on sadhana, we'll stop polluting the oceans, we'll stop chopping down the trees, because they are part of us and we are part of them. And we cannot live on this planet without nature, you know. And if we don't, and I'm confident, because you see a lot of kids on social media saying, you know, like women are the ones that should be praised,
Correct.
and instead of having this man's world, but that's religion. And just being aware, and that's what sadhana does for me. It makes me aware. I've always been aware of the sun and the moon and nature, and I've always been a greenie, but when you've got a purpose, when it's validated, and that's the thing you need validation, and me becoming a Hindu has made me valid. It's made me go, well, okay, I can't slacken off on this anymore. I have to do this for the rest of my life because this is important. This is our survival. We cannot live without this planet, and we need to keep it healthy. And hopefully... And there is a lot of the West that's thinking the same way, that's thinking, oh my God, because we've gotten to a stage where everyone's sick, everyone's stressed, everyone's had enough, they're killing themselves, everything's just gone pear-shaped, you know? And so you have to hit rock bottom before you go, well, okay, we've got to change things. And that's Shiv, you know, okay, he's done the destroying bit, now we have to get up and...
Transform.
Exactly. Yeah.
So would you say that Hinduism is the religion that people should adopt everywhere in the world?
Yes, and it's not a religion.
It's a way of living.
Yes. If it was a religion, I would steer clear of it, because religions just control you and they don't like women.
Correct. That's true.
So with Hinduism, it's a way of life. Yeah. And you can practice it any way you want. Nobody's going to get rouse on you if you go, well, I'm going to do it like this. You can do whatever you want. And you're not worshipping these gods. You know, when I do sadhana, I'm getting energy from those, from the higher power through the statues. You know, I'm not worshipping them, you know. I'm getting that energy from them through the divine, you know. So it's amazing.
But Westerners are beginning to recognize our culture and our religion and everything. They are recognizing the importance of the language Sanskrit, and in our text, in our scriptures, it's already written the things that the science is discovering now. The 9 planets, the distance between sun and earth, and all of those things that are already written in our text.
Yes.
The scientists have discovered it now.
It's in the Vedas, and all these people from Europe that have said, I invented this and that and the other, they didn't invent any of it. The Vedas, when you read that, you know, and I've watched Mahabharat several times and
Yeah, I love
Ramayana
it.
several times. I love it too. But it's carved in the temples, so it's real. It's not a story, it's not a myth. And I really get annoyed when they call Hinduism a mythology. It's not, it's real. And yeah, and you know, they want to use Sanskrit for NASA.
Yeah, I know that.
Isn't that amazing?
Exactly.
And all these things were hidden because the British wanted to be number one and the Europeans wanted to, well, I invented it, you know, but they didn't.
But you come from a British lineage, so
Yeah, well,
you are literally like talking bad about your lineage.
Well, I'm not talking bad. I mean, all those people are dead now anyway. But but you know, the truth. It doesn't matter if it's going to hurt people. If it's the truth, that's all that matters. I mean, they even had Vimanas, you know, spaceships.
Correct.
You know, that's amazing.
Everything that we are trying to build right now, it was already there.
Already
it was
there.
already imagined. It was already executed.
Yep.
And if it's a story, how were they able to imagine that?
Yep, that's
Right?
right. And surgery. They even did plastic surgery back then.
Even IVF, if
Yes.
we talk about it.
Yes. Yeah. Sage Drona. Was it Sage Drona
Yeah,
that did
I
the?
think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing.
But if let's just talk about one thing that I've been thinking about is you came to India when you were 19.
Yeah.
So the 19-year-old Australian girl in India, was she scared?
No, actually. No, I wasn't scared. I was excited because I've always been a seeker, and I'd just been through Africa, hitchhiking through Africa for a year and a half.
Oh,
And so
I would love to live your life.
yeah, had some pretty heavy stuff happen, but some incredible stuff as well. So by the time I got to India, no, I wasn't afraid, not like I was in Africa at certain times. I was energized. Oh, just bring it on. Give me more. I want to see more. I want to experience more. This is nothing I've ever... And I sometimes think maybe I was an Indian in a past life because I feel so comfortable. You know, I feel like I've come home. And yeah, no, I was never scared. No.
What would you tell a teenage or a 20-year-old somebody who is watching this and scared of jobs, scared of taking risks, scared of everything in life?
Well, I would tell them that life is not easy. It is hard. There is, and you have to realise that you cannot have the good without the bad. So you have to learn. Every time something really bad goes wrong for you, don't go, oh, poor me. Go, well, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I move on? How can I be a better person from what's just happened to me? You know, because happiness doesn't happen all the time. Once you realise, because we're all chasing happiness, and I realised that you can't chase it because it's like if we didn't have night, we wouldn't know what day was, you know?
Yeah.
So we need to realise, okay, I'm going to have some bad shit happen in my life, but if I learn from it, I'm going to be a stronger, better person for it, and I will have empathy for people that aren't so happy or aren't so lucky.
That's so apt and that's so beautiful. I really like the advice that you have. So I want to know any parenting advice for our audience.
Let your kids, that's the one thing I love about India, you let your kids run free. Because, you know, if they drop something, if they pick up an egg and drop it, they're not doing that to be naughty. They're doing that because that's science. Oh, what happens if I drop this? What will happen to it? You know? So if you can look at your kids from that perspective and go, well, they're not doing bad things. They're just learning. They're just discovering. They're just being little seekers that want to know how things work.
They're just trying to understand the world.
Yes.
Interacting with it.
Yes. And teenagers too. The frontal lobe, I remember I was crazy as a cut snake when I was a teenager. Crazy as. And so was my kids. But I realised from learning that your frontal lobe, the connections, the neurons, or they're neoplastic, okay? And when you're hitting puberty, they're joining up. So that's why you feel like you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof, because of that. It's not because you're being a naughty kid and you're rebelling against your parents and everything. Parents have got to realise, okay, this is another stage that my child is going through. She's or he is going to be a little, mainly she, because we've got so much going on in our body compared to men, is going through all these transformations, you know, and it's not something they're doing on purpose. It's something that they haven't got control over yet.
That's true.
And when they hit 18, 19, it starts to settle down.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And I really relate with that, being not very old right now. So I
Yeah.
understand what you're trying to say. And I feel like if parents understand this, the child's life will be much better, much
Yes.
easier. They will be able to have a good relationship with their parents as well.
Yes, yeah, yeah. And don't try and control them, you know. Don't. That's the problem with our schools. You know, we put them all in a classroom, especially little boys. Little boys sitting still for 8 hours is unheard of. You know, it's just not on, because little boys like to run and jump and scream and and we expect them all to learn at the same rate, whereas everybody's got a different sense of learning and
Correct.
how long they're going to learn things. So, and it's funny that schools haven't changed. Everything else has evolved, but our school system's still the same. It's still institutionalised, you know. It's still treating every child like they're the same, and that has to change. Now that we've got Google, we don't even need school. We need schools where they can learn about life, where they can learn about
Mental health.
yes, mental health, teamwork,
Life skills.
traumas, learning how to, you know, confrontations, doing your tax, all the things that mean something in life, like
That are useful.
that you're going to use, because most of the stuff we learn at school we're not going to use.
That's true. A lot of
know?
people would relate with this.
Yeah.
And it's the pain in their heart.
Yeah.
I can't help but notice that you have mehendi on your hand.
Yes, I love it.
And it looks beautiful.
I used to do this back in the day. I was a face and body painter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I used to paint bodies. I travelled the world teaching, and I did henna for a little while as well, and temporary tattoos. So yeah, I love it. I love everything about India because it's all so colourful, and yeah, there's two sorts of people. You've got your data people that love to sit and read and learn, and then you've got people like me that just want to make things look beautiful.
Creative.
Creative, yeah.
Wow. And I mean, hearing about your life, that you've done so many things, you've traveled so much, you have explored so much, you've done so many jobs and small things here and there. I would love to know a few more stories that you've experienced, something you'd like to share, a story that people would love to hear.
Well, I think because I spent 5 months in Goa, it was the place that everyone ended up after they travelled around
Correct.
India. They'd all end up in Goa. And that's where you saw all the crazies walking around naked and out of it. But I lived in Shipora, and then there was Vagator, and I can't remember what was next. But then there was Anjuna. And Anjuna was where all the cool people went and all the drumming and stuff. I only went there once. I preferred it at the other end. It was sort of like Robinson Crusoe. You were just... and I remember sitting at Vagator one day, and this guy came around the corner on a surfboard with a sail, and that was the
Okay.
first time I'd ever seen that. But we had this full moon party, and a couple of days before it, people were putting things in the circle, you know, for the full moon party. And then we all dropped acid and went to this full moon party, and the king tides came. So we were all locked in. We couldn't get out of this space we were in.
Oh,
Yeah, so we had to spend the night in there. And it was weird. There was a girl that looked exactly like me, but she was from France. She had... Because I had my hair cut off in Goa because people were putting kerosene in for their head lice and whatever. I just got my hair cut really short, shaved just about, and she was exactly the same. And then there was another girl that had an beautiful Afghani dress on, and she had long black hair. And there was another girl looked exactly the same as her. And we spent the whole night in there, and there was people going, oh, wow. That was the good thing. Everyone just let themselves go. They weren't embarrassed, you know, because coming from the West, you know, you only did things in front of the mirror when no one was looking. And here we all were going, wow, this is amazing, you know. Oh, it was so good. And we had this little Indian guy with us. I think he was 6, probably. And he hung out with us the whole time I was in Goa, I think. And he was there for the whole party. And then in the morning when the tides went down, all these Indians came down with chai to sell us chai. Yeah. But it's hard to explain that party, but, you know, it's sort of one of those things where you had to be there. It was just magical, because the thing that was good about it was everyone let their egos go. Everyone was just being who they really were without any mask on, because we all wear masks.
Correct.
And we wear different masks for different situations, and all the masks were gone, and we were just raw people, and it was beautiful.
matlab, even if anybody who's watching this right now would be like, I would like to experience that once in my lifetime, what you just told us. It's something that we have only seen in movies.
Yeah.
We can only imagine, does this happen actually? And you have experienced it.
Yeah.
And now that you have experienced so many things, you are at such an age that you've had a long, beautiful life, and you're still not being like people that I'm done, now that my grandchildren are there, I am okay, I feel content, I feel happy and everything. No. You still come to India, you still go. You told me that you were at a retreat, you were in Haridwar right now before
Yeah.
this as well. So you're still going through all of it again and again and again. Where do you find the energy to live life so fully?
Well, you never stop learning. Just because my age is just a number, you know, and I've got friends who have died because they've just gone, oh, well, it's time to just be an old person now. Well, I don't believe that. You don't have to be an old person just because of your age. And you never stop learning. And I find with the younger generation, you can learn a lot of stuff off them, whereas a lot of old people think, oh, stupid young people, they don't know anything. Well, that's wrong. They know heaps, and they keep your finger on the pulse. So it's really nice to keep that attitude, and because I'm not ready to lay down and die yet. And I tried the grandmother thing, and that didn't work.
That did not work?
I love my grandkids, but my daughter, she's very independent like me, and, you know, I can come and visit, but that's it. I can't stay. So I just want to keep learning. And so one day I will die happily, because I have friends my age that have died in very bad ways, like Alzheimer's, cancer. I don't want to die like that. I want to die happy. I want to be ready. you know, in a beautiful way. So maybe I'll have moksha, hopefully. And maybe I will have my ashes thrown in the Ganga.
Oh, do you want that?
Yeah, that would be great.
That is the Indian way of
Yeah.
dying and
Yep.
achieving the moksha that we say,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I would love to achieve that.
And that's like what you just said. I mean, being so young myself, I would like to achieve that level of satisfaction in my life. Right now, honestly speaking, I don't have it. What you have.
Well,
And I feel inspired today. I feel really touched that if a person, another person can live this kind of life, have this kind of morals, values, have this kind of experiences, and then be so content, so happy, so peaceful, I can also achieve it.
Yep.
And that's what you inspired me today for.
Oh,
and
thank
this is a
you.
beautiful end to our episode. But before
Thank
I
you
end
so
this, I
much.
would like to know, what do you do now?
Well, I've taught a couple of friends from India. They could speak a little bit of English.
To teach English?
Yeah, they'd ring me up and we'd talk for an hour, and both of them have got businesses of their own now, and they're both doing really well. And because I don't teach them grammar or anything, we just talk. And as we're talking about life as well. So I'm helping them get their lives together as well as teaching them English.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're still contributing in a way to India only,
Yeah.
and you're still finding time to help people and do a lot of things.
Yeah, well, that's what life's about, isn't it? I mean, we're all connected. We're all brothers and sisters, you know? There's only one race, and that's the human race. And, you know, this bullshit about racism, there's no such thing. There's only one race, and that's us.
We're all equal.
All of us. Yeah. Yep.
Do you like chai?
I love chai.
Okay, I'll get you chai after the episode. Thank you so much, Ria ji, for coming on Namah Talks. Hope you really, really liked the conversation as well. I really, really, really loved talking to you today. It was something very unique for me as well. I have done, 70, 80 podcast episodes.
Wow.
It's been more than 1.5 years. But this is one conversation that really touched my heart.
Oh.
Something that I have never done before as well. I really loved it. I really enjoyed it. And I hope you have a great life ahead as well. You keep on experiencing all those things. Keep on talking about it. Keep on inspiring the youth as well to live the same kind of life, to live happily the same way and be so content and so peaceful. Thank you so much, Ria ji, for coming on
Thank
Namah
you
Talks.
so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. It's been great to talk to you. And I'm hoping that I will eventually get a YouTube channel and
We would love to
contact, do my stories in
Would
detail.
love to see that.
Yeah. I've got to
Please do.
I've got to get a, what do you call it? Editor.
see that. Yeah, you need it.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having me. Har Har Mahadev.
Har Har Mahadev. And thank you so much to the audience for watching the episode till the end. आपको पसंद आया, if you really, really liked it, enjoyed it, hit on the like button, comment करें, do show your love, comment, share, channel को subscribe करना मत भूलिएगा. And this is your host Khushi Kegun. Thank you.
रख दे तू कोई दिल विच गल्लां रब दिया बंदिया तू सब जाने अपने अंदर लेके तुरदा क्यों फिक्रां विच पल तू गवावें जा कुछ राज तेरे कट अपने लिए तू समा